chai tea latte.
Okay.
Okay.
It's rolling.
All right. So, let's start with the beginning.
When I was born?
Where were you born? Who are your parents?
I was born on August 14th, 1935, in Detroit, Michigan, to Mike and Jen Mars. I was the first of 7 children. I do not remember anything. If my early years.
You don't?
I don't. I have a good memory for certain things, but I don't remember playing on the street or anything like that.
And brothers?
I don't. We lived in Detroit in a little bungalow. I remember the people on the street, the neighbors. I remember living alley to alley to the O'Connors, and growing up with all of the O'Connor children, although Mary Olive was 2 years younger than I was. And Aunt Pat was Michael's age. We're the ones, Aunt Pat and I were the ones that became close, even though
Aunt Pat was from Detroit?
Aunt Pat was from Detroit. We lived right in Detroit. You have garages in the back of your house, and then what they called an alley that you entered your garage from, and it separated the house behind you from, and then you just had a front porch on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And we lived alley to alley. She lived on one street and we lived on the next street.
Right.
But the backyards were backed up together. So played.
There's no backyard really. It's just like your garage and then an alley.
And then there was the garage, and then you had your backyard next to your garage.
Oh.
And those were together. And then the alley was the street. It was like it was paved, but it was.
Yeah.
And I do remember we had the Sheeny Man in those days. This was, we lived there. I was born in 1935, and we didn't move from there until 1942. But the Sheeny Man used to come every couple of days, and he was like what today is a dollar store. Mm-hmm. He would come with all his little trinkets and stuff in a wagon, and he would ring the bell, and and we'd all run out to the alley to see what the Sheeny Man brought.
Oh my gosh,
and you could buy
was he white?
I just kind of remember him. Yeah, white, beaded and old and scary.
Wow.
Probably, vaguely, that was a Sheeny Man. And then the other thing I remember is playing at night. We would play all these games in the alley. Mm-hmm. Kick the can and hide and go seek and Ring Around the Rosie and all those games, but we'd play them in alley to alley and up and down, Yeah. So you weren't on the street. You didn't have to worry about cars or anything like that.
Did you play with your brothers and sisters? Or
yeah, we were. And we played with the O'Connors had 5 kids too, so it was all.
So is the O'Connors Aunt Pat?
Aunt Pat.
Oh.
There was Mary Olive. She was the oldest, and then Aunt Pat, and then Casey, and those 3, and then they had 2 young ones after, like Tara and Nora.
So Aunt Pat has
4 brothers
and sisters?
She has 3 sisters and 1 brother.
Do you ever see them?
Well, I see Mary Olive mostly when she comes out to visit Aunt Pat. Mm-hmm. Mary Olive is the one whose husband just died. Mm-hmm. And he also lived right in the neighborhood. But he was older than I was. Mm-hmm. And I said to Mary Olive, how did you ever get together, Mm-hmm. But Casey, the only brother, he also died very young. Like my brother, Uncle Walter did.
Her brother? Aunt Pat's brother?
Aunt Pat's brother. My brother Walter died, and then Aunt Pat's brother Casey died the year after. Very young. They were in their 30s.
Really?
And so that was a very bonding thing between my mother and Aunt Pat's mother. Besides living,
Yeah.
And even though we moved to Barrington when Mary Ann was born, we still stayed friends with the O'Connors because Aunt Pat's father was a policeman, John O'Connor. And so when I married Dad, John O'Connor was kind of his mentor. And so there was a connection there. And then Dad was the O'Connors were in the Irish circle too that Dad belonged to. That Grandpa belonged. Your grandpa.
So Aunt Pat moved out here with you?
Aunt Pat moved out here like almost the same time as we did. But she came out here when she graduated from nursing college and met Uncle Charlie and decided to come out here and see where that would go. So she and two of her nursing friends came out and got an apartment in Santa Monica before, and that was what bonded us, her coming out here, because the two of us were from Michigan, Detroit. And so that's how we got close, and then Dad and Uncle Charlie bonded, and then they moved down here to Orange County.
So you guys were how old when you met?
Who? Aunt Pat and I?
Must have been kids.
Yeah, born.
You were born?
I was born before Aunt Pat, so I was like 3 years old when Aunt Pat was born.
Wow.
And we were right there.
That is really crazy. Lifelong friends.
And Joanne was my lifelong friend, too.
She was from Michigan, too?
Yeah, Joanne's mother and my mother were good friends from high school. And they played cards together, and they went to the yacht club together, and they hung out together. In reading Mom's diaries, I did not realize how much they socialized. Joanne's parents and my parents.
That's crazy.
And then Joanne and I became close. We went to boarding school together.
Yeah.
And then when we came back from boarding school, we bonded in junior high at St. Ambrose. And then we were best friends from then on. And then Aunt Denise grew up with us too. Aunt Denise from Escondido.
Yeah.
She went to school from first grade on with me.
How crazy.
At St. Ambrose. And we all ended up here. So Aunt Denise and Joanne were in my class. We're classmates. And both, Uncle Norm was Grandpa's good friend too. Mm-hmm. And then we hung out together in Detroit before they came out here. Mm. So after.
Okay, so we left off going down the rabbit hole with Aunt Pat. But so let's go back to growing up with your siblings. Who are your siblings?
I'm the oldest, and then Aunt Karen is next, and then Uncle Mike, and then Uncle Walt, and we're all 11 months apart. I'm August, Karen's September, Mike's October, and Walt's November. And then there was a break, and then Marianne. Walter was in 39, is that 5? And then Linda was born in 40. Well, that's not much of a break, is it?
You're 35, right?
Yeah. So, and then Linda was born in 40. And then 2 years later, and then Marianne was born in 42. That's probably why we went to the convent. A convent, I say convent meaning boarding school. It was called St. Mary's Academy, and it was in Windsor. And my grandmother, Granny Doone, realized my mother was overloaded. 5 kids in 5 years. He isn't born yet.
Oh, okay.
This is 1942. Marianne's born. She's a baby. So then I think 43 we went to the convent, all 4 of us. Granny Doone sent us there. Mm-hmm. And it was a boarding school, and we went and we stayed. We lived there. That's what boarding schools are. You go to school there and you live there, and we lived in dormitories.
Was it in the same state?
It was in Canada.
Oh.
Was right just across the river.
Yeah. In
Windsor. And it also happened to be the same boarding school my mother went to.
Wow. So that's how she knew of it.
In high school, yeah. It was a really, really cool experience, which I hated. I hated being away from home. I was the oldest, and I was in 4th grade and 5th grade. So then everyone else was in, below. And I remember our parents used to come and visit us on Sunday, visiting day. And sometimes they'd take us out for a meal. But they always brought us snacks for the week, with our little bags of snacks with our name on it. And then after school, we would go and get our snack, which our parents had provided, and then have play, before dinner. And
No.
and I was planning my escape, and I have.
Oh my gosh! Really?
I was like I don't know if I was in 4th or 5th grade, but I was going to run away and go home, and I had the foresight to take all my snacks on Monday and save them for my escape. And I have no idea. I dreamt about my escape during every night, but how I don't know, something about stealing a rowboat and rowing across. How I was going to get home, I don't know.
You were serious.
I was serious,
thinking.
yeah. And it just so happens that my parents came back Monday night because they had forgotten to give us something, like, I don't know, my boots or something. And so everybody is calling my name, and I'm hiding in the bathroom with my snacks.
Oh my gosh.
And finally, my sister Karen found me in the bathroom. So that was the great escape of 1943. I don't know why. It was really a great experience, but I always wanted to go home. So finally went home, and we met a girl there, Virginia Allen, and she lived in St. Clair Shores on 9 Mile Road. So sometimes her parents we would bring her home with us for holidays, and then her parents would pick her up. Her parents were divorced, I think. The funny part is, I'm 84, and 2 years ago, I got a letter from that girl, with a picture of her family, and she had met my cousin Arlene at some kind of a group that she belongs to, and got my address.
Wow.
So that was a connection from boarding school to that.
That's crazy.
It was really, really. I never have done anything about that either. It's too bad.
Yeah.
I wrote her back, but I never went and saw her when I went home.
Yeah.
So that was. Then we went to St. Ambrose.
So you went to boarding school up until 6th grade?
Yeah. Well, I think it was 4th and 5th. And then I went back to St. Ambrose in 6th, or it was 5th and 6th. I don't remember.
Did all your brothers and sisters stay there?
No, we only went for 2 years, and then we came home. And by that time, Marianne was, they were the little ones were a little older.
You probably remember that more than they do.
Boarding school,
yeah.
Probably. I remember they used to show movies every Saturday. And that's what I fell in love with. Shirley Temple. A lot of Shirley Temple movies. And I remember my sister Karen took piano lessons when we were there. And she had a piano one, and she used to play the piano.
Wow. What about you? Did you ever play an instrument?
No. Not talented at all in those lines.
So, when was Tim born?
Tim was born in 1950. 1950, I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow.
No, I was a freshman.
That's a big age difference.
Yeah. There's 15 years difference between Tim and I, and 7 years difference between Marianne and Tim, who are next. Tim is right after Marianne.
Yeah.
And Tim was born on Marianne's birthday.
Oh, they have the same birthday.
Same birthday, only 7 years apart.
How much apart are Mary and Pat?
How old are Mary and Pat?
They might be 7 years too.
Maybe. Let's see. Mary was born in 58. No. We were born in, Tracy was born in 58. Mary was born in 59 and Pat was born in 67. Because Nora was born for 3, 5, 7, 67. So 7, 8 years apart.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that was.
Were you close with your grandma?
I was very, very close to my grandma.
You were?
She was I think after my mother, I love my grandmother best in the whole world.
I haven't heard you talk much about her.
Granny Doone, yeah, I spent a lot of time with her. I would go visit her. She was very, very good to me. She was really cool. I would go and visit her, and she wasn't a big cooker. She'd give me money to go buy food. And then she'd fry up a steak, and we'd have steak and petitfours for dinner. I mean, it was like a little cupcake, but it was like, like your baklava. It was made with that kind of dough, and it had a cream filling and icing on it. And,
steak and petitfours, huh?
Yeah, it was steak and petitfours. And she, I loved visiting her because I loved everything Canadian.
Oh, and she's from Canada?
Yeah, she lived in Ottawa, and she had an apartment, and she owned an apartment house, and she had lived upstairs in one of the apartments, and she lived right next to the university, and so we could walk into town in downtown Ottawa easily, and my cousin Molly was there, and she had a whole group of friends, kind of like Chloe and Aaron. In all her tons of friends that she had gone to school with, and they stayed friends, and they belonged to a tennis club, and she always incorporated me into that group.
Yeah.
And we would do such cool things, and I had a boyfriend in Ottawa that I'd go visit, and we had such a good time.
Yeah.
That was one of the happiest times.
Did your brothers and sisters go with?
No.
It was just you and
just
her.
Me. I'm the only one that really hung out socially. Because Molly was my age.
Wait, who's Molly?
Molly was my cousin.
Oh, your cousin. That's the one with all the friends.
Yeah. And she was married to John Belanger.
But I meant, did your brothers and sisters hang out with your grandma?
Not like I did. They would go with the family, but not singly.
Oh, okay.
I would go by myself.
Yeah. Get away.
And then after she died, I would go and stay with my Uncle John and Aunt Teresa. And because at that time Molly was in nursing school. So she had a bedroom that I had. And I remember I went and visited the year after Granny died. And I went right after Christmas, and I loved that time with them. And finally, my mother wrote and said, Judy, it's time to come home. You've been.
She wrote a letter?
Either she wrote a letter or she called Uncle John and said, it's time for her to come home. She didn't move in with you. She's visiting. And that was like in February.
Yeah.
Because I was there for Valentine's Day. I went at Christmas and I stayed till after Valentine's.
Oh, wow.
And that was when
that's a long time.
I knew Grandpa, Dad. but I was dating someone else, and he sent me a bouquet of red roses for Valentine's Day. And I remember Uncle John, who was my godfather, said, Judy, this sounds like a good guy. I think you better go home and investigate this. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll go home. And so then that's when Grandpa and I started dating. I was 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Because I was married at 20.
Oh, wow. Gosh, that's so crazy.
And my grandmother died in November of 54, and I had graduated in June of 53. And so this was like 55. And and then Grandpa and I got engaged in November
So you went
of
back
55. I went back home and decided to go to Michigan State.
home.
I had gone to a private girls' college before that, Siena Heights,
Yeah.
for a year. And then I had stayed home because my Granny died, and we went to the funeral, and Mother, and then I stayed in, while Mother went to Ottawa. And so when I came home from Ottawa that time, I decided to go to Michigan State. I wanted to go to a university. And I went up there, and my dear sweet mother paid for all my fees and, you know, the tuition and that. And oh my heavens, what a vision of, what a vision. Do you want to come and get in my video? I love.
I just think you ought to be careful when you start talking about who your favorite is. This is going to go down in history, and I don't want everyone to be hurt forever.
I know. So I better be careful.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it. Later, bud.
Patrick is going to a picnic for Jerry's
I don't think you can.
Reunion for his class, his college class reunion.
Because there's no pool there,
I have no idea what he's going to do there, dressed the way he is, but
Go to the fair.
should be very interesting.
Lucky.
Those are cool shorts, Pat.
Thanks.
Are we taping?
I'll get 'em for you.
Yeah. The monkey said the same thing.
That's we're having a discussion between the bros. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it sounds like a little negotiation here. I don't think the younger bro is going with the older bro.
Bye, I love you.
See you guys.
Oh, we got some great pictures of Jerry.
I know.
Do you want to show his classmate? We got an album.
Kevin sent them to him.
Oh my God,
I
they
should
are
bring them
so
out.
cool. They're right on the table there, in an album. Right, look at it. It's like in a little photo album. That is no one could believe he was that young when you guys got together. And that buff. Wow. So anyway, back all about me. Come on. Let's get focused what this is all about.
Where did we leave off? You're in Michigan State. Now, what I want to know is, how did you first connect with Grandpa? Did he ask you on a date? Do you remember the date?
I remember the first day I met him. We had like a Larry and Susan house that we all hung out at. It was a Sullivan's house, and
He came down the stairs, and the angels started singing.
that's about it. And we used to hang out there, from high school.
Yeah.
This was after high school, but we still hung out there.
Right.
And one night, the older people, the parents would play cards. And one day, Dad was in the dining room playing cards with all the old people. And he had just gotten home from Korea. He had been 4 years in the service.
Yeah.
Well, actually almost 5, and had just gotten out of the service and didn't have any friends or any place to go. So he drove his dad over to Sullivan's to play cards, and he was playing cards with them.
Wow.
And
really?
yeah, that's how we met.
So he didn't go to high school with you?
No, he was older than I was. And he kind of hooked up with Joe Jackson, that picture we saw this morning of that guy.
Right now?
Not bad.
And they became friends, and then
Oh, the guy in the picture.
yeah,
Joe Sullivan.
and then he married one of the Sullivan girls, who was my friend, and so he just kind of got in the group, in our high school group,
Yeah.
you know.
So you went to high school with Joe Sullivan.
With who?
Joe Sullivan.
No, Joe Jackson,
Joe Jackson.
and he married Maureen Sullivan, and Maureen Sullivan's older sister Eileen Sullivan was my good friend.
And that's the guy with the cigar in his mouth?
Yeah.
Joe Jackson. Who was friends with
And
her?
then their other sister, Pat Sullivan, was Aunt Linda's really good friend and Uncle Walt's good friend. When we lived in Michigan, when we lived in when we were little, everyone had big families, and we all went to St. Ambrose. And so almost everybody in every family had a friend from one of the other families. So that was how the Sullivans were all friends. So that's how Dad went and entered the police academy. He decided to become a policeman. And he would go to class, and then he would come home to the Sullivans every night. I was in college then. I had gone back to school. But all the girls that were, like your mom and Molly and all of those girls that hang out, they would do his homework. And they would write in his book. Everything was handwritten then. And do all of his written work.
What? Why?
Because he didn't like to do it.
They were trying to get in.
He'd play cards, and they would. So when he would turn his notebook in, there was like 15 different handwritings in it, and no one ever questioned it.
That's pretty funny.
So then we started dating, and
okay, so that night, how did you guys connect? Was it like kept looking at each other?
No, he saw me, and he liked me. I wasn't looking at him.
And he was like, "Who's that girl?"
And I wasn't dating. I was dating somebody else, and at the different parties, and so that was why it was interesting when he sent me the flowers, because we weren't dating.
Yeah.
And he sent me the flowers, and then when I came back, we got together.
So, yeah, did he?
He loved my mother.
Did he have like any PTSD like when you guys were together?
No.
It wasn't.
That is not something your father would, or your grandfather would
talk about.
Kevin and I were talking about that today. He was so unique. He had his things. He liked his job. He loved his family. He had his faith. He was very faithful to his God, and that was it. And he took care of those three things, and nothing else bothered him. If you got a problem, take care of it. That's your problem, not mine. He was just really a very simple.
So he didn't like wake up with nightmares. Yeah,
never.
That's good.
And he was in service. He got shot at.
Yeah, right.
He got shot at. It was a famous battle that was in a movie. And then he have to go to Japan for R&R, to get healed. And his experience in Japan was he loved it. He was only like 17 when he went in the service. And he went to Las Vegas.
You don't have to be over 18.
His boot camp was in Nellis, right where Shannon lives now.
Oh.
Shannon lives right out near Nellis Air Force Base, and that's where Dad went, and it was 1949, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so there was nothing in Las Vegas then except this downtown. And that was where they went, when they had time off. And so when we got married in 1956, he wanted to take me to Vegas, because Vegas was just up and coming. It was brand new. There was only two hotels on the Strip. And they were building the Frontier. It was that was it on the Strip. It was really,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is the old Vegas still there?
That's where the D is.
That was old Vegas.
That is
that's
old
old
Vegas.
up and
That's
coming?
old. That was old.
No.
But all those places were real. It was like a old Western town, in those days.
Huh.
So that was why we went to Vegas for our honeymoon.
How long
Where'd you
were
stay?
you together before you got married?
How long did we date? Probably 6 months.
And you got married right after 6 months?
Yeah.
Right, Wesley.
Well,
that was coming.
we got engaged in November and we were married in May. And we started dating probably in August,
How did he ask?
July.
What?
Yeah.
So you got engaged after 3 months?
Yeah.
What? That is insane. I mean, it's not insane.
It was different then, For one thing, you couldn't have sex,
Oh.
right? So that made a big difference.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes it worked out for when you did it for that reason. Sometimes it didn't. Luckily for Dad and I, it worked out for 57 years. But that's not so happen to everybody,
Right.
you know.
And then you asked where they honeymoon.
No, how did he ask her to marry him?
I thought you asked where they went on their honeymoon.
Well,
You
I
know,
asked that too.
I am so superficial. I do not remember that. I remember he asked me, it was November, and I remember he got the ring, this ring, and I loved it. I thought it was just gorgeous. It was different from everybody else's. Nobody else had a ring like this.
Mhm.
He had bought it from a policeman in downtown Detroit. He bought it from a jeweler that a policeman knew from downtown Detroit. And he gave it to me. I loved it. I loved it. We came home, and I told Mother, and Mother went and got a piece of velvet and put it on the kitchen table. And then I put my hand with my ring, and she took 500 pictures of the ring on my hand.
Oh.
And I remember at that time I had a job at Michigan Bell, and I would take the bus downtown. It was downtown that the place was, and I would have to stand on the bus, and I always made sure that I was holding the bus handle somewhere so that people could see my
Oh
ring.
my gosh.
So cute.
But see, those are the things I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't remember how he asked you?
No, I don't have a clue. But it wasn't they didn't fly balloons and
Right.
rent things like that. It was
They didn't get a flash mob. And
no, nothing
have
like that. It was
swearing.
like
What else are people doing? What about an engagement party? Did
No.
you have what is it called for the babies when they announce did you have a
Gender
gender
reveal.
reveal
Oh, God,
party
no,
for all
no.
your kids?
the showers.
Can you imagine?
We had a lot. What we would have would be we had a lot of nice showers.
Did you have a baby shower with every baby?
No.
No. Just the first one?
Yeah. It was.
Well, she hasn't had babies yet. We're not there yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, but the wedding, you chose your bridesmaids, and then each one of the bridesmaids kind of gave you a different kind of shower, or that or the families gave it. I don't remember if Clarke's had it. I don't think Clarke's had a shower for me.
Okay, so you got married. Who was in your wedding?
My sister Karen, the maid of honor, and then I made a very bad decision by having, I had Eileen Sullivan and Ethel Gimrick and Sharon Sullivan, three girls I went to school with as bridesmaids, because I didn't want to have Marianne and Linda, because I figured that would be another expense for Mother, which was a very bad decision because she had to go out and buy them all a new outfit anyways. So it would have been, they could have very easily have been in the wedding.
Did they get mad at you?
No, they weren't mad.
Oh.
I'm just sorry I did that.
Yeah.
And then Sharon Sullivan was my friend. She was an only child, and she was gorgeous. I mean, movie star gorgeous.
Sullivan?
Huh?
Sharon Sullivan?
Sullivan.
Was
This
it
is
only
another
child?
Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
Two different Sullivan families.
Oh, okay.
Her dad was a furrier, and she's a
Furrier. What's that?
he made fur coats.
Oh, that is a funny.
Yeah.
A furrier.
I never heard that.
She lived down the street. She was, and as an only child and a late in life baby, she was so spoiled. And if you're that person's best friend, you get all the benefits of it, so that was cool. And Ethel Gimrick was one of the girls that was in our group, that was funny and nice, but she wasn't really close to me. But one night she was having a breakdown of her boyfriend or something and was crying, and so I thought, well, I'll make her feel good and I'll ask her to be in my wedding, which, my mother said, why?
Yeah.
And then Sharon and my sister Karen got into fights because Sharon, because she was so pretty and she was a dancer, she just couldn't help but being on stage.
The show.
And poor Karen is so always scared. She was always very meek and mild, and so she kind of took over. And Karen just got mad,
Yeah.
She said, I'm the maid of honor. Who does she think she is?
Yeah.
Of course, I was oblivious to all of this.
Right.
because I didn't pay attention to that.
So what does someone who's spoiled at that time get? Like, what is it like to be spoiled in that time?
That's a good question. Well,
Is she an only child?
yeah.
Like, what
In
kind
in
of
Sharon's
things?
case, she had all the best clothes.
Mhm.
One of the things I thought her eyes were and eyelashes were amazing. I didn't realize this, but she wore mascara. We didn't even know there was such a thing as mascara,
Wow.
but she did. You know, she was above the
Yeah.
curve on all of that stuff,
Right, you know.
and she had a fur coat, naturally.
Yeah.
And they had a cottage on a lake, and we used to go out there. You know, it was like
Yeah.
it was a cottage. It was really
So
really
basically,
nice.
she got whatever she wanted that was available.
Right,
That
yeah.
was
Yeah.
not available to you guys at that age.
And they had television. They were the first people, my first friend to have a television, so we could go down there and watch the program. You know, just all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay,
Well, that's
so
crazy to
now
think
you're
of.
married. When's your first child born?
Tracy was born on June 13th, Friday the 13th, 1958.
So she's a Gemini. Yeah.
She's a Gemini.
So how long is that after you guys got married?
We were married in 56, 57, 58, 2 years.
Well, that's a good solid time frame.
I had some miscarriages in between. And then Karen got married. My sister got married in 57. And then she had Don in May. She had Don before I had Tracy.
Dawn is not her husband's name?
Yeah. But
And
it was,
her first son?
yeah, and then Demi Don was her son. So he was born in May 24th, and then Tracy was born on the 13th of June. So they were the first two. They were the first two grandchildren.
So Aunt Karen got married how long after you?
A year.
And she got pregnant right away?
Yeah. And then she had Don, Demi Don. So.
Okay, so now you can tell us.
And you're still in Michigan.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
kids
We
you
lived
have?
on Phillip. We had bought. We bought the flat on Phillip. Mother gave us the money. At that time it was called a land contract, and a flat is like a little house on the bottom and another house on top, and they were quite large. The rooms were very large, and they had 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a big dining room and living room, and then a nice kitchen. And we bought that on a land contract. It was $12,500. Mother gave us the money, and then we paid Mother, and we paid her $100 a month, and we rented the bottom for $75.
Wow.
So when we were first married, when we had the flat, it was $25 a month, and then we had to pay the taxes. And I remember, the tax bill came in, and we thought, "What is this?" You know, didn't have a clue. We had to go and borrow $1,000 from one of those shyster lending companies,
Yeah.
you know, like at this huge amount of interest to pay the taxes, because we didn't even count on that, you know. And Dad, you know, he was in the service. He was 17. He went in the service. We didn't even know that stuff.
Yeah.
That you have to pay
And
taxes.
when it's a land contract, what does that mean?
That means you pay a person back, not a bank.
Oh, okay.
And so,
But you still own it? Oh, till you pay
we're,
it off?
yeah, when we pay it off.
So $12,000 was just the down payment?
No, that was the price of the house.
Oh.
So she
You
paid
bought it
cash.
outright.
She paid, Mother paid cash for the flat, and then we owned it.
Right.
And then we paid her a month, $100. Like I would own you,
Right.
if I own you guys $5,000 and you paid me $500 a month, you know,
Right.
you got the money, but you had to pay me back.
And then you guys were able to sell it.
Yeah. You hope that when you sell it, you hope you pay it off. What happened was, with the flat, we still owed Mother the money, when we moved to California, the flat wasn't paid for. We had only lived there like 5 years, so we owed her the balance of that loan. So when Dad quit the Detroit Police Department, he got a settlement, from his pension.
Mhm.
And so we took all that money, and there was enough money in that to pay Mother off.
Oh, nice.
So
You
then
guys
she
left
got her
it.
money back.
Did you sell the flat?
No, we couldn't. No, well, that was the other thing. We had to pay. We paid her. She
Right.
was up. Then we owed the flat, and then my brother Walter, was gonna try and sell the flat. Well, in that time, Detroit was going all downhill, and it ended up that he could not sell the flat, and eventually people moved into it, and eventually it was burnt down. So it was.
Wow.
That's what happened to that whole neighborhood. They burnt the houses
Oh my God.
to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a good neighborhood after a while?
After when we moved out, no, it went downhill. It's coming back. It's all a vacant lot now,
Wow.
and it's right. It's not very far from
That's probably
Barrington.
heartbreaking. So Granny had
I used to
nothing.
walk from my house on Phillip to Barrington. That's how close it was to Barrington.
I mean, that's so sad that, all that went. I mean, because you want to buy real estate, that's how you made money. That's how you became
Yeah.
established, and it kind of sucks that you lost all that.
But you know what? That was one of the things.
What about the property? Did you own the land?
Yeah, but it's gone.
That you couldn't do. You couldn't.
We were here. Yeah.
It didn't matter. It was like, oh.
Yeah, that's a good question. I never thought of that. I
No.
wonder what.
Like, 'cause that's real estate.
Yeah, but you know what? We had come to California. We were raising a family.
Right.
Dad was starting. We never looked back.
Oh no, it wasn't even Granny's. It was yours. It was in your guys' name.
Yeah. We never looked back at that. I don't.
Yeah. That's interesting.
We didn't. I never even thought of that. You're right about that.
But you were probably young and didn't know much about real estate and properties.
It would have been so. It would. There was no way we could have done. I
mean, you probably wasn't at that time. You're like, we're not going back. We don't want that. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think of that. I to this moment, I never even thought of. Well, we would still own the ground. The ground. I wonder who owned it. I wonder if the city took it over, or.
I wonder if they ever, someone paid for it.
I don't even know who I would ask anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's interesting. You see, those things I don't think about.
Yeah.
I just don't think about. So then we came to California, and
Who came with you?
Tracy, Mary, and John.
just Tracy and Mary.
Oh, John wasn't born yet.
I'm just waiting for my
No, and Dad wanted to get out of Michigan because he could see the police department was going down, down, down. By that time, he wasn't a detective, but he was working plain clothes in a special car. He really did well in the police department right off the bat because he had a lot of experience from the service, and Dad was smart, street smart. He knew how to deal with people.
Yeah, talk to people.
And so he took the exam. And then out west here, they were looking for policemen, and they wanted them in Phoenix. And he took the exam for Phoenix, and went out and took it, and came back, and got the notice. They refused him, and they said, you couldn't afford to live here. You have 2 children, and we don't pay you enough.
Which is probably true.
Which was a godsend.
Right.
Or we would be in Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And then another notice came up on the bulletin. When you watch Blue Bloods, they're always putting stuff on the bulletin. Well, this was from city of Los Angeles. Chief Parker was not then the chief, and he was cleaning up the department, and he needed new guys. And so he applied. We came out here in October of 61. Huh?
It wasn't someone that he knew that got him a place out here. It's from the department.
He came out.
Bulletin.
He came out himself.
Yeah, okay.
I came out with him. that was when Uncle Joanne's dad gave us a car. We drove out with the two girls, with Tracy and Mary Jan, in October, and we drove out in a Cadillac convertible. It was beautiful with air conditioning, and we were driving out a car to California for somebody, and so they paid us to drive the car. And Aunt Denise and Uncle Norm were out here by that time. So was Joanne and Jimmy. Uncle Norm had gone to Escondido and was working for his brother building houses. And Joanne and Jimmy lived in near St. Jude's Hospital. He was working for Hughes. And so we came out and stayed with Norm and Denise. And Jimmy was a baby then. And then after that, we came into LA and he took the exam. We stayed with Joanne and Jimmy. And then we drove back in a station wagon. And I remember going through the desert. And this was November. And I said, turn the air on. And he said, it's freezing. I said, I don't care. I've never been in a car with air conditioning. Turn the air on. So we went through the desert with the air on, and it was colder outside than it was. Oh.
God, I'm gonna use this.
And oh, Mary, those girls were so good. I mean, that was a long trip. And, you know, they didn't make a peeper. I remember when we stopped and Joanne was at the apartment. And when we stayed with them, God bless them, they no blow-up mattresses. So they took the mattress off their bed and put it on the floor and let us sleep on the mattress.
And they slept on the
box spring.
Aww.
That was how we shared.
That's so sweet.
And so then we went home, and Linda got married that year. We went home in November, and then Linda was getting married. She got married on the 30th of December. And then Dad got his notice that he had been accepted, and he had to report for class on the 5th of February.
Oh, wow.
That was the class he had to be in. He had to make that class, or he would be too old.
Right. How
So,
old was he?
huh?
How old was he?
32.
Yeah, because it cut off 35 or something?
32.
32. Oh.
So he would be 32 in March, and we got in the February class.
Right.
And so we turned right around. We sold everything, got a van, and brought some of the stuff, and left the apartment, left the flat with Walter, and drove out again. What car did we have then? I think that's when he bought the green Ford. And he got out here and he got into the February. Then he moved. Then we rented an apartment right across from Joanne, and that right down in on Euclid.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great apartment too. Had a lot of fun there. And then he went.
A lot of fun. How?
Joanne lived right across from me, you know, and so the two, you know, we were like neighbors.
Yeah.
We hung out. Jeff was a baby. She didn't have Judy yet. And I had Tracy and Mary Jen. And we played cards every night, and, you know,
We hung out together.
ate, and
You know, you guys
Yeah.
stayed home, right?
yeah,
So you just
both
got to be together all day.
all day, you know, with your very best friend. Are you
Oh,
kidding?
that's cool.
Doesn't get it. And Dad did
You
that.
don't have to go
Dad
anywhere.
made that
It's
decision
less lonely.
because he knew that would be good for me.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
really
was willing
cool.
to drive all the way from Anaheim into LA every day.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I never thought about that. That he had to drive.
Every day to
Every
to the
day.
police academy.
Did he ever work for Orange County?
No. So, and then we were there a year, and he saw the ad for the house on Ventura, and it was a Saturday morning, and he says, well, let's go look at it. And so we went over and looked at it, and he said, this is perfect. We both said it was perfect. We bought it that day,
Wow.
12.5.
You own another house besides this one?
Yeah. We lived in Anaheim and
3.
Ventura.
Oh.
There's 3 houses. She bought the flat for 12, and you bought the house in Ventura
For 12.
And that was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, living room, dining room, kitchen.
Guess how much you paid?
Huge.
28.
42.
No, it was, they wanted 42, and we could not afford 42. So she said, well, what can you afford? So we came down to 35.
Wow.
And she,
It was 60.
no.
Wow.
And so she called her husband when we bought this house. He was a sea captain, and her girls had all graduated, and she was here with, and her mother had died, and
Who's
she was
she?
here. The woman who owned this house. And we came to look at that. I'm jumping ahead here. I'm jumping ahead. I'll finish this story and go back. She called her husband and said, I like these people. I want them to have this house. We are lowering the price so they can afford it.
That's
And he said,
cool.
that's okay with me.
That's really cool.
That was that was a miracle.
That's how people were back then.
Yeah. She said, we have a perfectly good house to move into, so it'll be fine. This house was in pristine shape. Didn't have to do a thing to it when we moved in. But on Ventura, we moved in there with Tracy and Mary Jen, and then I got pregnant with John. No, first of all, Mary Ann came and lived with us.
Really?
She graduated. She came out for her graduation. She did not want a party, so she came out at Easter time, and for Dad's graduation. And she thought, I like it out here, so she came back that after she graduated and went to Fullerton for her LVN nursing.
Was she a good roommate? I won't tell her if she
A roommate?
Yeah.
Here?
Was she a good roommate when you lived with her?
Oh my God, yes. Oh, she adored John. And she, helped. She helped and she did everything. I mean, she was my helper lady.
Did John remember her?
Oh yeah. Mary Ann was fun. John remembers everything. I swear to God, he remembers the womb.
Oh.
I mean, he remember.
John remembers everything?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
everything.
All the boys have detailed memories.
Just of stuff, people's names, and
Tim was amazing that way too.
Yeah, when they were little.
Yeah, they do have good memories. That's true.
Yeah, so good memories and good memory. But I remember Mary would be in school, and she'd come back and she'd have to practice giving shots. So we would get oranges out, and she would give shots to oranges.
Oh my God.
And she would do all of her. She was amazing. I thought, Marianne, how can you do this? I can't even pronounce these words, let alone spell them. Mm-hmm. She did so well in school. And John was born right when they shot John F. Kennedy. And that was so traumatic, And she was here. And then she went back home.
After she finished school?
After she finished school, yeah. And then Nora was born the next year, and Marianne was getting married. So Nora was born in February, and Marianne got married in August. So I went back to Michigan with all four of them, on the plane. And we went back.
Did she go back because of Uncle Frank?
Yes. He was gone to the service, and then he came back. And because we had introduced her to a policeman out here, but he was no Frank, so. And the policeman liked her too. Can't remember his name. So that was a traumatic time for Marianne, traumatic time for my mom, traumatic time for Tim. Oh, we skipped over Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, poor Tim.
I know, that's what I was thinking this whole time.
Yeah, Tim was born in 1950. He was such a cute baby. And Aunt Karen loved him. Me, on the other hand, was in high school, And I was so above children. Oh my God, I thought
You were
this,
done with them.
I said,
huh?
oh, this is so embarrassing. You
Your
know,
mom still
I
had
am
kids.
never having children. This is just,
Mhm.
oh,
Sounds like the-
I was in drama and oh my God. Oh.
You were in drama?
Oh, I was always in some kind of a play.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to be a famous movie star.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah, little
you sing?
theater, and
Broadway?
I just like that kind of stuff,
Do you remember any play you were in?
Little Women.
I was in drama too.
I know. So, but when we go back to Michigan now, in my old age, I realize how lucky I was to have the upbringing I had. It is such a beautiful place to have grown up in. I mean, we lived right down the street from our school and our church, which were the most important. I mean, this is where our life all centered. And at the other end of the street was the park, where it was like having your own private. Where did you go? Bass Lake, right at the end of our street, for the whole summer. All our friends were all within walking distance. The movie theater was right down the street. I would walk to the movies every Friday night all by myself and home, And I would, on Saturday, every Saturday, I always went to the movies. I would hurry up and get my work done. We all had chores. And then I would go to the movies, and I would go there for all day and then walk home by myself. I never minded going to the movies by myself. So that was, and then I would live the movie on the way home. I can remember all the different movies I thought were and I would cry if it was sad, or I would walk differently because it was like Gone with the Wind, imagine the whole thing. Loved movies.
You still do.
They're not the same though. They were so otherworldly,
Because you didn't have TV and all that stuff, so it was like you were going to see. It's like it was
You're
a
on like
special
a high
thing.
after.
I remember
Right.
babysitting across the street. A lot of these things come back to me when I read Mom's diary. The lady across the street had a television, and it was a 7-incher. This was the first one, black and white 7-inch. I would have babysat for her for free to watch the movie.
Oh my God.
It was, and she was a character. Kimbrough was her name, Betty Kimbrough. And she was not the housekeeper of the world. She had 2 little kids, a little boy, a little blonde girl, cute kids. And I would put them to bed quickly and do her kitchen dishes so she would hire me again, and then watch TV. And she was a partier, so she wouldn't come home till late. So that was just fine with me.
You watch TV all night.
Yes. The Scarlet Pimpernel, I remember that, with Leslie Howard. Oh, I thought that was just the most amazing thing, being able to watch a movie in your own house.
Mm-hmm.
So, then Tim was born. Tim was born in 50. That was high school.
Oh, Uncle Tim. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't want to forget Tim. But he was born when I was going into high school. And so Karen was the one.
How old was Granny when she had him?
40. And Karen was the one that was his buddy and helped Mother take care of him and was loving and caring and good to Tim. And it's funny that we ended up together out here.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's my right-hand guy.
So were you guys as close as you are? When did you guys all become so close?
We were close all of our life because we always had fun together. Mother always had parties regardless. And when we moved out here to California, then Mother came out. Everybody came out to see her. And when they came out, we always had fun.
You had a party.
We always had parties. When Dad and I got married, we always had parties. Family parties, friend parties.
That's what you did back then. That was your entertainment.
Yeah, we never went to restaurants or out, at that time. When Karen and Don would come, when in later years, they would always take us out to dinner. Sometimes, when as a thank you for all the entertaining they got while they were here, and we went to really nice places. Mother and Dad would sometimes take us out. It's for the ones that lived here. When Tim and Sue and Marianne and Frank came, we'd go out with the company. But that was the only other time was when we lived at the apartment. Joanne and Jimmy was across the street, and somebody would come. We would go to Coffee Dan's, and it was like a coffee. It wasn't. It was like a restaurant, and it was white tablecloths and booths, leather booths, and I always remember when you used to go out with Sandon. He would get so mad at you because he would take you to these nice places, and you would always be listening to what was going on in the booth next door.
He'd always make me face the wall.
And he would get so mad. And that was what we used to do at Coffee Dan's. We would go and they would have these high booths, but we would always be listening to what was going on in all the different. It was a piano bar, and they had prime rib, baked potato, and salad with Roquefort dressing, and that was $4.95. It was like ranch dressing is now, but it had big chunks of Roquefort cheese in it. We're coming from Michigan, where we didn't go out to dinner or eat like that, but they would bring your salad course first, and it would be in a soup bowl, and they'd put it on your plate with this Roquefort dressing. Oh, it was so good. And then they would bring you your plate with your baked potato and sour cream and that. Some meal we never had. It was $4.95. So good. It was right at our corner. So I remember that fondly. We would go out there first. Like, if we wanted to go out to dinner or something.
That reminds me of, what was the place on Tustin we used to go to? Where we used to get the french fries and the salad with the ranch. Earl's, 24 hours.
Oh my God, Aunt Meme and Uncle Frank loved that place. So, what now?
Okay, so you can tell us all your kids from start to finish. I have no idea.
Let me tell you about how wonderful it was when, this is always a good tale. I don't know how old you kids were. When Marianne and Frank moved out in, I think, 73. Granny moved out here in 78, I think, with Tim. Did you know that? Tim came with Marianne, and they bought Milligan's house. Huh?
With your grandma? Give that back to us.
What?
It's my tool.
No. I'm gonna cool myself down.
Okay.
Should we talk about you?
Can I just have it?
No. Okay, so let's talk about the Ventura house.
Okay, we
I
moved.
just wanna have it until we leave.
We moved into the Ventura house in October of '62. We came out here in February of '62, and Dad went through the academy, and then that October we got Ventura, and then in '63, John was born, and Marianne lived with us. Then every odd year then Nora was born, and Patrick, Maureen, Tim, Kevin. Kevin was 9 months old when we moved from there. But in the meantime, Dad had added on a whole new house. This was the original house was probably 1,200 square feet, and he added another 12.
Wow.
Huge master bedroom and bath and closet, and then enormous family room with a beautiful brick fireplace, big French doors onto a patio, and then another bedroom for an extra bedroom, and like a laundry service porch. And it was a gray house, and we still had a huge yard, and I guess I he always seemed to know when was the right time. I think it was me maybe that came out to Orange to buy something for a stove part, and I thought I would just drive around and see where the Milligans lived, because they had just moved from Brookhurst out to Orange. And Carson came, and I said, well, I'll take you around and show you. And we were driving around. It was all orange fields around here, and we saw a sign for sale on this house, and that we just called. And the lady next door on Ventura was dating a real estate man at the time, so we told him about it, and he's the one that investigated it and found it, put our house up for sale, sold our house for twice what we paid for it,
Wow.
and bought this house.
Which house did you like better?
Well, they both. I liked them both. I liked all three of them because they suited our life at that time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that makes sense.
and each neighborhood. I mean, we upgraded location. This, of course, was a fabulous location because we could walk to school, and at that time, there was no way I could drive people to school.
Yeah.
So everybody could walk to a school, and I could walk to church, and those were very important things. And the house was huge for us. It was, as it's always been. So that we moved here in 1972, and Dad was 40 years old. He turned 40 that year. We had a big party for him then, and then 44.
He was 40 when he moved here?
Mm-hmm. Dad was.
Yeah.
And Kevin was 9 months old. So the kid,
Wow.
yeah.
Really?
So you show everyone was still pretty young.
Wow, he was 40 when Kevin was born?
No, when
Well, sort of.
he was
39.
40 when we moved here.
Oh.
Kevin was born in 7. Yeah. Kevin was born in 71.
So he
Tim was born in 71. Kevin was born in 72. And Dad was 40 when Kevin was born.
Okay.
32, he was born in 32 in 1932, and Kevin was born in 1972.
Yeah. And so when you were at the Ventura house, were you ever thinking like, I wonder how many kids I'll have, or 3's enough, or
Never.
5? You didn't even think about that.
No, we at one point we did, when it was like at the end of the 60s, because it got so that birth control had come in and it was possible. And I had a lot of friends saying, Judy, you can practice birth control, And it was never like a religious thing, in the sense that I thought I would go to hell if I didn't, if practice. I would have felt, I just didn't believe. Dad and I both. He went to talk to some Franciscans. I remember he went and told me at work, priests. And then we prayed on it, and we just said, let's just do what God plans for us,
Yeah.
until we feel that something should change. And we just didn't worry about it, because it would have been a added burden, in the sense that his schedule was so erratic, and just, it would have just, it wasn't our way anyways to be that regimented.
Yeah.
So we got the new house. I mean, does that sound like God's taking care of you or what?
Yeah.
and at the price we could afford. Oh, in the meantime, we had bought another house.
Oh.
That's right, I almost forgot. We were looking for another house, and we saw this one over in Yorba Linda on Rose Drive, and Dad thought it was fabulous. Oh, God. It was a 3-bedroom house, but it was custom made, and it had lath and plaster walls, and he loved that idea. Because with lath and plaster walls, your house is quiet, you know, and you can't hear from one room to another.
Yeah.
No one does that anymore.
It's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore. And it was up on a hill. It was, I knew immediately that this was a bad decision. But we went ahead and we put a deposit down on it, and I was sick. I was just sick about it. And finally, I guess I made myself so obnoxious, he finally said, okay. But we were up on this hill. It was a 3-bedroom house, less bedrooms than we already had. But he said, I'll build onto it. Well, when are you going to build onto it? And it was on this hill, and you went down the hill, and below you was a railroad track.
Oh, no.
And I had 9 kids.
Yeah.
You know, that is not going to work.
Yeah.
Those kids will be on those tracks, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, we got our money back for that. And so that was why I was looking around for houses when I came out to see Milligan's.
Yeah.
And we saw this, and this turned out perfect. More than perfect. More than perfect, really. And it was sad leaving the other house because so much of it was what Dad had worked so hard to build, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And he had worked so hard on all of it that.
Was that surprising to you that he could build?
No. I always just felt he could do anything, and he did pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
So then that was 72, we moved here. And then in 1974, my brother Walt died. And that was when Marianne and Frank decided to move to California. And he died in August, and they moved here in October.
Mm-hmm.
They moved here in October. And then we went into the Saturday Night Frank time. When they moved here, Uncle Frank didn't have a job, and Aunt Meme was working all the time. Shifts, she's as a nurse at Chalk. And Frank was always available. And they didn't have any money, so we hung out here. And every Saturday they would come out over here. And we had, oh, look at you. We had so much fun. Uncle Frank was so funny. And we called him Saturday Night Frank because the more beer he drank, the funnier you got. And then he and Dad had this routine going, you know, and he would pick on Dad, and it was just hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so much fun just doing nothing, hanging out. And then Tim and Sue decided to move out.
Wow. So
And Granny was already here because she had bought when we were on Ventura in the 60s. Milligan's moved to Orange, and their house was up for sale. And I thought Granny could buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to sell Barrington, and they were going to split up, Mother and Dad. And so this was perfect, get her out of Detroit. And Tim came with her, and Tim went to school in Anaheim. And then Tim didn't like it here. He went back to Michigan, and Granny was all by herself. And she was very unhappy. So then Dad came back out here to visit her, and they got back together.
Your dad.
My dad. She went back to Michigan, and then they came back here, and they were in an apartment, and then they bought the house.
Did they get divorced?
No, they never actually divorced. They just separated. And then they ended up buying their condo in San Juan. And in 1972 they moved to San Juan.
So your dad lived there in that condo?
In San Juan, yeah. And then Tim and Sue came out, and they moved to San Juan. And so that was the 70s. We were all together, and everybody was little. We had Kiefer, and then Kelly, and then Sarah and Peter, and then there was Tim and Kevin, and then Kate was born. And so all of it was like having all those kids. And then Aunt Pat was there with Danny and CJ and Jono.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of kids under 5 years of age.
Yeah.
And, we would do all the holidays together, and we'd go to the beach together. We'd go to Duhaney, and there was nobody there.
Wow.
And we'd go to the fire pits over on the end, the far end. Oh, we just had so much fun doing everything. Then Kate was born. Then the twins came in 75. Kate was born in 73, and the twins were born in 75. And I remember we'd go to Duhaney, and we had this big playpen that was like a gate, and we'd put that out. And they had all this area to play, which worked out great until they figured out they could lift it out and then crawl under, and then the other one could hold it for the next one. They could escape that way.
I just realized I never see playpens anymore.
I know.
That's like not even a thing.
Oh, they were a godsend.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays there's not very many mothers that stay home, and if they do, they send them to preschool or daycare or whatever,
Yeah.
But you had kids at home, and you had stuff to do, and that's why they're so frazzled, because you would be doing your housework and the kid would be behind you undoing it. I mean,
Yeah.
but they have to, nowadays it works out one way, whoever. It's different now.
Yeah.
I think playpens were a godsend. They were perfectly happy in them. So anyways, that was the 70s. What else happened in the 70s? Then of course, and that's when everybody from Michigan would come out and visit, because we were all out here. And those are fond memories for all the cousins. That's what kept everybody together. Your original question was, when did you get so close,
Yeah.
But we always stayed close, even though we all had individual lives. That's what Mother's diaries are so neat about, is she writes about everybody's life in her diaries.
Yeah.
So you learn what was going on in your brothers and sisters' lives, but you were still close, but you didn't know it all.
Yeah.
So that was.
Let's see. Do you remember like which of your kids hung out together and like how it was when they were growing up?
You'd have to interview my kids on that, because I am finding out that there is so much I didn't know. And I really think that was a godsend, They stayed very close together, doing whatever they had to do. And I was busy, and it all worked out, It was Dad and my job to keep the house going, and that was what we did. And I think they all had a lot of freedom that kids don't have today. They luckily, and the other thing is they all had each other. So they all had somebody had their back. And I think that makes a big difference with kids. Not only did they have their brothers and sisters, but there were a lot of kids in this neighborhood. John was just talking about all the things he did with the Harders, He had a lot of good experiences. Once again, they weren't only children, but there were only two of them. And Mr. Harder always took a Clarke with them wherever they went, Nora and John. So they were able to experience a lot of things they wouldn't have necessarily have gotten with us. The one thing that we did do that was cool is we did go to Disneyland once a year.
Oh, with the whole fam?
Yeah, it never would happen otherwise, but the police had a police night, And for $4.95, you got a ticket.
$4.95.
Yeah, you got a ticket. And that, you didn't need e-tickets, and, you could go anywhere. The park was only open for law enforcement that night. And so you got to go, and it wasn't crowded, and you got to go on whatever ride you wanted. And, it was a really cool experience. That, once
That is
again,
so cool.
I know.
Do you remember that?
I never went.
Maybe it was over.
Maybe it was over by the time you came, But,
Or if it wasn't, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know when it stopped and but I know that was one of the things that we were able. And Knott's Berry Farm, we could go to Knott's Berry Farm too, because that was all free. They didn't have the rides then, but they had all the other attractions.
Like what?
They did have rides at the end, but they weren't expensive, I don't think. It was not an expensive thing. We were in Southern California when a lot of stuff was free, and there wasn't a lot of people. So it was a good time to live here.
What other kinds of things did you do, like, as a family?
Beach.
Outings? Beach a lot?
Beach. We went to the beach a lot.
Really?
We would go, luckily I didn't have to work, and especially when we lived in Ventura, I'd pile all the kids in the car and just go right down Magnolia all the way to Huntington Beach. And take the cooler and, just spend the whole day there.
Yeah.
It was mostly Fountain Valley. We'd just go through one farm after another. That was the years on Ventura that when Dad was building the addition, that I babysat. I would babysat Aunt Pat's 3 kids all summer, and Milligan's 4. So there would be a lot of kids. And thank God we didn't need seat belts or any of that stuff. We'd just pile them in the car.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then for fun, when Dad was working, this was on Ventura, Joanne. And Jimmy, she was living in the house she lives in now, and they had a big porch on the back, like a screened-in porch, and she'd invite us over for dinner, all me and the kids, and she'd cook a big roast, and Judy Calvagna would get everybody out in the back patio, and they would all play house or school or hospital.
Yeah.
Or something very creative, and Judy could boss everybody around.
That's a big task to take on, to invite you guys over.
Yeah, it never. She didn't even. I mean, we'd do that at least once a week.
Wow.
And I remember at one time, Dad always tried to make sure I had some car, and he bought me the Pink Lady once, and it was a Rambler, Ford. A Nash Rambler. They don't even make them anymore, but it was like a little station wagon. And Maureen, I think, was a baby. And at that time, we didn't have car seats, but we had car beds. And they were like a little bed you put in the back of the car, and you put the baby in the bed.
Oh.
And then all the other kids sat around the baby.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then the only other problem with the car was that it didn't have a floorboard in the front.
Oh,
You could
God.
see right through the floorboards
What?
onto the ground. But it drove.
Oh my God.
And I would get in that car
seriously?
with all the kids in the car, and we'd drive to Joanne's for dinner, put the baby in the...
Oh my gosh, that sounds dangerous.
Well, it must have been, but
Yeah.
that was so funny. That was so much fun, though. And then Aunt Denise and Uncle Norm would invite us all down to their house. They brought us down. They invited us down. And I think the twins were born then. For the 4th of July. They were at their old house. And at their old house, Uncle Norm had built a big screen porch on the back. And then they had put a pool behind that. And the pool was very creative. The pool was smaller and had all this rock wall around it. and it was the coolest thing. It was like you went to a cottage because we lived on the back porch, and then swam in the pool, and the kids slept all over. And that was the year that the Wild Animal Park opened, and he got us passes to go to the Wild Animal Park before anybody else got in there.
Wow.
And we went on the tram and went all around and saw all the wild animals. And
That's cool. So who goes on these trips with you? That's a lot of kids to manage.
oh, that would be just our kids. We didn't take the babysitting kids.
But what adult would be with you? Just
Dad and
grandpa?
I.
Wow.
I would go to Joanne's mostly. Gene,
Yeah.
Dad didn't go for those dinners. He would be working nights then. So that was when Joanne and I started watching the Academy Awards.
Oh yeah.
And when it first started, it would be just her and I. And then as the kids got bigger, I remember when Maureen was born, someone had given me a colored TV. It was the first colored TV. It was a little one, and so I put it in my bedroom, and for the Academy Awards, and Joanne and I sat in my bedroom with the baby because I was nursing Maureen, and we watched the Academy Awards, and we wouldn't let anyone else come in
Yeah.
for the 2 hours.
Just leave me alone.
And then she started having Academy Award night at her house. And what did Nora say? As soon as you had sat through Gone with the Wind, you could come to the Academy Awards with us. And so that was Joanne's thing, Academy Awards, and dinner and the roast dinners. Aunt Denise would be. We went down there for a Thanksgiving once and 4th of July. And Aunt Pat, of course, was the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everybody learned to swim. And then we started Christmas Eve at Aunt Pat's. It was just Aunt Pat's family and ours.
Mm-hmm.
And so each one of those Michigan. And then there was Sheila Hoban, who, although I didn't go to school with her, she came from Detroit area. She was from the West Side, she and Tom. So those and she was Irish, so she had roots with Dad and Aunt Pat through the Irish community, and she was a Michigander.
A Michigander? What's that?
Came from Michigan.
That's a good word.
And her dad, Aunt Pat's dad, Duggan, and Sheila's dad, Duggan, Aunt Pat's dad, John O'Connor, and Jean's dad, Dick Clarke, all had come from Ireland and had lived at the same boarding house in downtown Detroit
Wow.
at the same time.
Wow, and you didn't know that.
Didn't know that until Dad's dad, Dick, came out the first year we bought Ventura and spent a month with us. And he met Sheila and put that together. And then Aunt Pat.
That word Michigander reminds me of that song Grandpa used to always sing. You know what song I'm talking about?
Avascabalanter.
Yeah. Do you know how that
Umpa,
goes?
umpa, umpa.
Do you know the song?
Umpa, umpa, umpa. Violin. Oh, Scabalander, Avascabalander. I bet John would remember it. We always sang that around the fire pit out here. Do you remember the fire pit?
I don't.
When we first bought this house, we only had this one patio over here off the kitchen, and Dad went to the cement works down on Taft, and he bought a great big planter that they have in commercial places, a round planter with like a seed all around it, and a big hole in the middle that they plant flowers. Well, he bought it and brought it and put it in the backyard, and it was like a fire pit. And he would build a fire in there, and then he found a grate somewhere and put a grate over it, and we'd barbecue hot dogs and hamburgers on it. And then after we would do the hot dogs and hamburgers, he'd take that off and we'd sit around the fire pit and tell stories and sing songs with all these little kids, you know, in the backyard.
Did he used to sing songs to you when you first met?
No, but he wrote poetry.
He did?
Yeah,
Wow.
he's a pretty good poet. Yeah,
That's so interesting. I did not know that.
yeah. The fire pit was a fun thing.
Yeah, he always sang.
Yeah, he liked to sing. And he liked to tell stories. That's when he would tell all of his hair lip jokes. And of course, Marianne and Frank would be here with and Tim and Sue. And so all the kids grew up with. We didn't go out, you know. I mean, that was our. And then we'd come in and play cards.
Yeah.
And of course, Mother and Dad loved to play cards. My mother. And when we were dating and in high school, that's all we did was play cards at night. We'd get together and, you know, bring snacks and beer and play cards.
Yeah.
Silly games.
Like go fish.
Yeah. Not like that, but pass the spoon and I can't even remember all of them, but they were all fun. Laugh and well, you look nice. Did you just do your hair?
Yeah, I just brushed it.
Oh yeah, it looks really nice. Was it because you were hot, or you just want to look good for the?
I just want to look handsome.
Yeah, look handsome.
Should we talk about Jax?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love when you talk about me.
Okay. What would we? Who are you? Who do you belong to?
I belong to my mom,
And who is your mom?
Eileen.
Eileen. And what is Eileen? Does she have a sister?
Yeah.
And what is her sister?
Well, her sister is Colleen.
And are they what? Twins?
Her sisters and twins.
Oh, both of them. And do they both live with us?
Yeah.
And what does your mother help you do?
She helps. Okay, well, one, she helps me clean. Two, she helps me brush my teeth.
She feeds you 3 times a day.
She feeds me 3 times a day.
And who takes you to school every day?
Colleen,
Colleen.
what is that for me?
Mhm.
That's all for me.
Mhm.
Oh, that'll make you cool.
Is there any strawberries? Because I love strawberries and I want just one.
I do not have any strawberries.
We have to go to the. We'll go to the store and get some.
Okay, well, I want to watch SpongeBob, so I'm going to...
No. We're taping.
Still recording.
Oh, she brought. Lauren bought you grapes.
You want some?
Let me have this. Oh, what? Oh,
These are baby grapes from Malibu. They're
from my house.
They're Malibu grapes.
Can I have some of this chicken and rice?
Uh huh.
So,
I want chicken and rice, please.
so I have a question I think would be fun. You often say that all of your children and grandchildren have gifts. I was thinking we could go through and you can share each one's gift.
Put it in the microphone.
What do you think?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start with number 1,
Tracy.
Tracy.
Tracy's gift is her kind heart and her gentleness with children and her creativity. She's very creative. And she's very kind. She's very very sweet and gentle.
Jax agrees.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree.
I do
Totally.
too.
Yeah.
That's right on
And
point.
she's very beautiful.
Yeah.
She's got beautiful eyes.
Don't forget the old part.
Is she old too? Well, she's the oldest, you know, but she's not as old as me. No, and she's not as young as you. But I'm the oldest in the family, and you're the youngest grandchild.
I am.
Everyone else is in between us. Then Mary Jen. Mary Jen is wise.
Yeah. Who's wise?
Wise means she knows the right thing to do, and she takes care of this family, and she never asks for any praise or anything. She just does it because it's the right thing to do. She doesn't need to be the star or anything. She's just the one that keeps us all together. I always call Mary Jen when I need somebody to talk something over with, because I know she will give me good advice. John has got the best memory of everybody in the family.
Mm-hmm.
He is a historian. He remembers everything. And he's always, as his godmother Aunt Meme says, he's always happy. And he has it, and so when he's around, people are happy. Because John makes them happy, because he laughs and he finds something funny, and he's just a happy person. And he cares about other people.
He lives happily ever after.
That's the story of John's life, yes. And then who comes after John? Your godmother?
Mm-hmm. Molly.
No, the other one.
Debbie.
No. Who did you live with?
Your other godmother.
No, yeah. Our No is the one that creates interesting things. She makes the party come alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She always has something fun to do, and she makes us laugh and have fun. We just took a road trip with No, and it was the best road trip of our life.
Yeah. You already did?
Yeah, last weekend we went up to see the twins for their birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We went with Nora, No, and John and Debbie and me.
Wait, I want to come.
Everybody wants to come. And who comes after No?
I don't know.
Your bro.
Oh, Pat!
Yeah.
Then after my bro comes to Wesley, my other bro.
Why are those two your bros? Is it because they live with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got good taste. Yeah.
Wesley's in my family.
Bet Wesley's in your family, yeah. Who brought him in your family? How did he get here?
Lauren.
Yeah. Was that hard?
Wait, how were you born?
No, not that.
Wait, how did he? Well, tell me when you were born.
Where was?
Uh-huh.
Hawaii.
What?
Hawaii.
You were born?
In Hawaii.
Yeah.
Who else was born in Hawaii?
I was.
No. Only one other person in this family. Julie.
I already knew that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't forget about Pat. Gotta share his gift.
Patrick's gifts. Well, let's see. What are Patrick's gifts? Patrick also is very wise, and he knows people. And he's funny. And he's
Did you know
generous.
strangers?
Huh? Yeah, because
He even knows strangers?
yeah, he does that because that's his job. He's a person that has to hire strangers for jobs, and so he has to know people really well. So he knows us all, inside and out.
What? That's so crazy. You gotta be kidding me.
And he's he loves you.
He
Yeah,
likes me.
yeah. Aunt Meme and I always have a good time when we go to Mass with Pat and then out to lunch.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just talk about all kinds of stuff. He's
You know
interesting.
why I like Pat so much?
Why?
Because I have someone to play with.
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of a child at heart. He's childlike. He's not afraid to get down and play with a kid. And then who's after Pat? Who was born after Pat?
I don't know.
Maureen.
I didn't know that.
Maureen is smart.
Mhm.
And
Like me
yeah,
and you.
and she takes care of business. And she loves to be with her family. Both her kids and her brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
Mhm. Ah, who comes after Maureen? Tim, our Tim. Tim was what was Tim to you?
How can you say? Wait, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
How can you say almost everything?
How can I say almost everything?
How can you see almost everything?
See, what do you mean by that? See?
Yeah.
See,
Like
see,
that.
because I have two eyes.
How can you see everything but remember when I was at school and you were not at school and where you were remember when I was at Children's Village
Mm-hmm.
with Max
Yeah.
and you weren't there
Yeah.
and I was playing? You saw Max and you weren't even there.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I totally did.
Well, maybe it was because you described Max so well that I felt like I know him. You know?
Oh, Mama, look it! I built some of it. See?
You ate it, more importantly.
Well, Tim, we're on to Tim. What do we remember about Tim?
I remember you went somewhere with me,
I know.
but I don't know the place.
Tim loves everybody unconditionally. And that's not
You
a
know
lot of
what?
people can do that.
I went with me. I was going with me, my mom, and Timmer. And we were all running like.
We're at Children's Village.
Mhm.
You did a lot of fun things with Max at Children's Village.
Mhm.
Who taught you? Who used to take you to Children's Village? First person.
You,
No. Who lives in Nebraska?
Katie.
Kate Muldoon. Yeah. She was
She was
just
the first one to teach me the Children's Village.
right. And then before Kate though, after Tim, who comes after Tim?
I don't know.
Your godfather.
Yeah, Kevin. Uncle Kevin. I have way more godfathers than just one.
I know. You know who your other godfather's birthday is today. Who's that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Who's the cool guy?
I forgot.
Dennis?
I already knew that.
You're pulling my leg.
I already knew that.
Yeah, I know you knew that. Yeah. So, Kevin is smart. Kevin is a gift of making things happen. It can look like the world is falling apart, and for some way or other, he seems to always manage to fix it, to pull it all together and make it work out okay, no matter what. And it's amazing because sometimes it's really, you have no idea how he can do it. he's got this kitchen he's doing now, and I know he'll make it happen. His business, what he's done business-wise, is overwhelming. He's very generous, and he doesn't want any credit for it. Remember the time he gave more when Megan called and was all upset because her dog Presley needed an operation, and he said how much, and whatever she said, he sent it to her immediately. No questions, no, you'd have to pay it back, nothing. Just that dog meant that much to Megan, and she couldn't afford it, so he passed it on. That's I think, typical of all of my children, but that sticks out in your mind with Kevin. And Kate's a sweetheart. Kate loves each one of her siblings till it hurts. And she's also very blunt, as we were talking about yesterday with Colleen's eyebrows. But that's a story for another day. And then we have the twins. What would I do without the twins? They're walking with me each day, making my life better in so many ways. I'm so grateful to have them, to live with them as adults. They're very easy, kind, thoughtful, loving, sharing, generous. So I'm very blessed. And so that that just proves that sometimes when you leave your life in God's hands, it turns out way better than you could ever imagine. So sitting around worrying about what the future brings and not enjoying the day that you have, it's kind of a waste of time, because if you're in God's hands, it'll all work out.
Look at our grips.
I've come a long way from the girl who didn't want any kids.
I will.
I'm glad I didn't listen to myself.
Hey, you weren't gonna have any?
Yeah. Or said, oh, I think I'll have 3 of that. I'm just glad that I just trusted that everything. And there were good times and there were hard times, but it's all been worth it, I don't think there's another person that has as good a life as I have.
I personally really like this letter. Did you read
There's
it?
more to it.
You read it?
Yeah, I wrote it. I just read it the other day.
Where did you get it?
I wrote it.
No, but it's to Beverly.
I don't know. No,
wants you
it
to
isn't
read
to
it.
Beverly. It was my meditation that
She
day.
wants you to read it for the camera.
No, but this isn't finished. There's more sheets to this.
You can just read the part about me.
It's not to Beverly. It's my meditation in the morning. And this was November 15th, 1992.
Why did I think it was for Beverly?
Well, on the 15th of the month, I pray for Beverly and Father Moreland. Every day of the month, I pray for a child and a priest that I know, or a nun that I know. And that's who I pray for on the 15th of the month, because that's her birthday.
Do you still do that?
Yeah,
Oh.
every day.
Pray for me.
You're not a child.
Is Beverly a child?
No, but she's my friend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
allow it.
Like Eileen's birthday is what day? Sometimes your birthday is the 1st. Okay, the 1st. This is it. The first of the month is Kate Muldoon, because she was born on the 1st.
She is?
Kate was.
December?
But so were the
I thought she was
twins.
born on the 2nd of December.
No, but so were the twins. So Eileen's day is the 2nd, and Colleen's day is the 3rd, and Dennis's birthday is the 1st. So he's on the 4th. So I have the first 4 days of the month are for the twins and Kate and Dennis, but their birthday's all the 1st.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then I have a special prayer for godchildren,
Grand or God?
grandchildren.
You live them all into one.
One prayer, yeah. And then I name each one of them individually. Why are you doing that? Now we have to wash that. Are you kissing yourself? You are handsome, aren't you? I
You can't read it.
I found, no, I did. I found this meditation when I was rereading something, and I thought, oh, this is pretty good. I think I would like them to read this when I die. So I cut it out I tore it out of the book, and there was 2 pieces to it, and I stuck it in with the pictures, so that I figured when you're going through the pictures, you would find this, and then you would know how I felt about you.
Oh.
So that's why.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah, well, it was in that pile there, but I don't know where the part of that is. This is also the 15th of November is Mary and Ron's anniversary, and they were married 11 years when I wrote this.
11 years they were married?
And they will be married 37, I think, this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that would make you were just a baby,
Mm-hmm.
92. You were just 3 months old.
So I have a question. How was the shift when all your kids are born, and how was the shift of becoming a grandma and all the grandchildren starting to come into your life? Did you feel like there was a big shift? Like, I think you started having more parties here. Like, there must have been some, like...
Not more parties here.
More gathering, like, instead of going to your friends, you started coming here, right? Doing Christmas.
Oh, well, we didn't go to our friends all the time. The shift came to doing everything here. It was when Marianne and Tim and Sue moved out. Then we did we did everything here because they had little apartments, and Granny was alive. So this was the house. This is why there's so many people who are connected to this house, because everybody came here, and everybody bought their friends when they came. Like when Tim and Sue came out, there's Donna and Bob and the other 2. I can't even think of their names right now. They came. I mean, they just came every year. So they were included, you know, and that's why we had Christmas. We went to Aunt Pat's for Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day we had it here because we had everybody, all the other people, too.
Jax, you can't see yourself in the camera because it's not focused on you, so you just look like a blob, like a shadow.
Getting back to your question, Siobhan was the first.
I know one.
And I always connect Siobhan
I'm looking
with...
at myself to see what I really look like in black.
Okay, sit down. Siobhan is special not only because she was my first grandchild, but that was when I got sober. Because Mary said, Mom, if you don't get sober, you cannot take care of my baby. I cannot leave Siobhan with you. And that was a huge thing. I thought, oh, you know. So not only did the twins say to me that, John said, if you don't stop drinking, Mom, you're going to die. And I thought, oh my God, they're only 6 years old. How can I leave them? You know, so between the twins, who were my babies, and my first grandchild, Siobhan, I thought, oh, there's nothing I have to. This is my life, you know. My whole life is these kids. I couldn't. What is that? I gotta do it. I will do it. I can do it. And I did do it. And that was, the second part of my, it changed my life. It helped me. It helped me be who I am today. I don't think I would ever be who I am today if it wasn't for sobriety. Because it made me realize, how important it is to being as I'm a Leo, how important it is not to realize that the whole world revolves around you. You must revolve around the whole world to be happy, you know? And it's just gotten better since then. So after Siobhan came Ryan, and I was working, and they were just so, they were just incorporated because they were so close to the twins. Siobhan, Ryan, and Megan were all so close to the twins. You know, it was like they blended because they were so young, and they were like they would have all been brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And so it was just like one big. And then that was Mary and Tracy, and then Sam. Then Sam was born, you know, and that was, I didn't even mention that before, but between Kelly and Sam is when the two boys, you know, they lost their two boys. So Sam was like a gift to all of us that she was born. And that made another whole family of babies for the family. You know what I'm saying? Those were all they were grandchildren, but they were just such, it wasn't a big gap between it. It wasn't like I have my children here and my grandchildren here. It was just a continuation of blending. Yeah. I've always told Siobhan that it's her job as the oldest one to make sure this family stays together when we're all gone. Because she's the oldest, you know, and she's the connection between the two. And she does. She plays both ends in the middle. Who is she going to be invited to go with? We had this big discussion. Who does Siobhan hang out with? The cousins or the uncles and aunts? You know, she gets both because she's got a big job to do. And then, you know, then all the grandkids. I was young. I was young for the first group, for all of you. That was Erin and Demi and Chloe and Danny. You know, that was a group with Maureen and the mothers were so great about gathering. Yeah. And we always gathered together for birthday. I mean, we were always together with all the grandkids, so they were always together. And then you came, and then Tara, you know, and you were here in the house, you know, that they all came to. So that tightness of all the other cousins is huge. You were all like brothers, and you all grew up like my kids did. Yeah. Together. You just went home and slept in a different house. Yeah. But you spent all of your time together because your mothers spent all their time together. Yeah. And luckily, like Nora didn't work, so she was available to bring the kids all the time. Mm-hmm. And Maureen's the one that I think has done an amazing job in making her kids so much a part of the grandkids, because she lived in Hawaii. She moved to Hawaii when she was 18 years old.
That's so true.
But those kids have never felt that they weren't part of this whole circle. Yeah. And I think that's amazing. Yeah. I should go back, and that's one of Maureen's gifts, that she did that. Yeah. So that was, and I remember you are part of our retirement, because I remember Dad was retiring when we found out you were going to be born. And then we didn't know what was going to happen because we left it up to your mom. Mm-hmm. And I can still remember that girl coming in and talking to your mom every week from the Holy Family. And at the same time, Aunt Karen had just gone through it with Nicole. And I had remembered Uncle Don and Aunt Karen saying, Nicole, we will help you raise this baby, but she's your child. You will have to be responsible for her. And so I knew that was gonna be the case. I think when Whitney was born, Nicole was graduating. So, but your mom still had another year of high school. But once again, not only were you incorporated into the grandchildren, that group, but you were incorporated into your mother's group.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you were like Siobhan, you were in both groups from the beginning. I can remember the patio every day, every night, being full of all the girls.
Yeah.
And you. And Erin was like that too, because when she was born, she lived here. And it was Christy and all, huh?
She lived here when she was born?
When Erin was born, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Wait,
She was born, yeah, she was here, and we'd have her on the couch was over there, and the coffee table was in the front of there. And we would have her in the infant seat, you know, every afternoon. And Dennis would come in to see her. And the room would be full of all Nora's friends.
Wow.
Christy and Debbie and
Yeah.
all that. So she was like a part of everything.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. So it's Siobhan was, Erin, you. Now, then Chloe was born in Spain, and she was just a year. Chloe was a year old, because Tara was born when we were in Spain to see Chloe. On the 19th, so Tara's the end, more or less, of this, of that group.
Yeah. And then it was
Belle and Kai.
Right? No, you're right.
Yeah, Belle and Kai first. And that was a different dynamic because it was a boy-girl.
Yeah.
Danny and Chloe were boy-girl, but they were shoved in between all you girls. So Danny was kind of shoved in with all these girls, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But with Kai and Belle, they were, they weren't. There's no bonding there.
Yeah.
And then with Julie and, Julie was 3 and 4 when she lived here. And Liam was around.
Yeah.
But I think he was living with his dad then. Well,
Yeah.
Dad and his mom, but not here. But that was another boy-girl thing. So it made Belle and Julie like a kind of a couple, but there's more time.
Yeah.
And then the twins.
Oh yeah.
And then
Please stop.
Sophia was here.
Please.
You're right in front of it. Go and sit over next to her, would you please? You're on tape misbehaving. There you go. Sophia and Natalie. But now Sophia's gone. So it kind of leaves Natalie hanging.
They still spent a lot of time together, though, growing up.
They spent all their formative, until just last year.
Because I remember Tara and I spent some time apart when we were in middle school and high school. No, high school.
High school, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But you always bonded when you got together.
Yeah.
You always said you loved going to Mary Jen's best because you could all be so close, because there were 15 grandkids on one sofa, just like little puppies being born. You're all laying on top of each other.
Yeah. And then, no. Oh, and then Sophia. And then
Boy child.
misbehaving.
Which he never does.
And then after Jax came
Before Jax.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, not before me.
Bennett.
Then it was
No,
born before
Cassie.
Jax.
Cassie.
Talk
Oh,
about me.
well,
You talk
Cassie.
about me.
Was Cassie here before?
She might have been before Jax, huh?
You're talking
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah. No.
You're talking about me.
Well, yeah. Because he was only a year old when they got married. So she was before Dad died.
Really? Yeah.
Mhm. And Bennett was born just before Dad died. So Cassie was here first.
And then Cassie just dove right in.
Oh, Demi. Now where's Demi? Demi's one
Aaron.
with Demi and Aaron and Danny and Chloe. Yeah.
And Megan's with.
Megan was like the first group. She was with
Right, it's Siobhan.
she was with Ryan. Yeah, it's Siobhan, and then we started 2 by 2. The boy girl, Ryan and Megan, and then who's after that? And then Aaron and Denny, and then Danny and then Chloe and Danny, because they're only like 2 weeks
Yeah.
apart. And
Tara and Lauren.
Why is your face like that?
Kai and Bill.
We just went through it.
and now we have, like I told Danny, now his Declan will be with Wood. So
Declan, they already named him?
yeah.
You heard it here first.
Maybe. She also likes Riker.
Oh.
We're like, that's a prison in New York. She's like, it is? No, nobody knows that. Daddy's like, yes, everybody knows that.
I like Riker though.
I do too.
Rikers.
It was.
I like Declan too, though.
Yeah, Declan's cute. So that would be not your first great grandbaby because of all Nikki's and Ryan's.
Fifth.
Huh?
Fifth.
Fifth, yeah. Because, wow.
So that's. What else you want to know?
Do you need to take a bathroom break? That's what I want.
No, I'm good.
What about you? Anything? I like fun, silly things now. Oh, I know. Should we say something about Wesley since he's doing this film project?
Film project? What's that?
We can't remember when Wesley wasn't part of us. Been through so much with us. Started out at the beginning and yeah.
The champion. It's right there.
You set the bar high. Let me put it that way, by choosing Wesley to be your partner. The rest of them are going to have to really look to make it. Because that brings up something that we've always thought about is how each one of us, brothers and sisters, married well. I mean, because not only do we like all of our brothers and sisters, we like all of our in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them was, and they all liked each other. Like Frank and Don and Ron, they all hung out together. I mean, they had a good time together. They like to spend time together. Right from the beginning, when I was dating Dad and Karen was dating Don, they were like brothers. They were so close. In fact, I think Uncle Don's brother was hurt sometimes because Dad and Don were so much, were close. They were,
Yeah.
and they were different. Same, just like all of you grandchildren are so different, personality-wise. But that doesn't matter if you love each other and you focus on each other's good points. You really you form a bond that's indestructible. When Frank and Don died, it was like losing a brother.
Yeah.
They had funny stories, but it was also, we spent a lot of time, like you said, together. We might not even have spent. That might have played a part in how close we are. Now that you mention it, by us moving to California, because they had to come out and they came out and visited, and Mother coming out here, and that bond was there when they came out, and we stayed together and we played together and looked forward to. Whereas if it was, maybe if we'd all stayed in Michigan, we wouldn't have been that close. I don't know.
Yeah.
Although they are close in Michigan.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the closer we get. And I think probably as cousins, you'll do the same,
Yeah.
And I think I've taught you all to look at each other's good points, and there's no comparison, Kids are kids, and each kid will be different. And it's not that, oh, mine talked first, oh, mine walked first, oh, mine got all A's, or mine got a football scholarship, None of that. You don't look at that kind of stuff. You say, oh, my nephew got this. Oh, good for him, We're happy for each other when they get something good, and we're sad for when they get something sad. And that's what keeps a family together. Loving like that, And celebrating anything you can. Like I thought last night was great. Just spur of the moment, all going out together. Everybody was tired, but we still went out for dinner together, And had some laughs and some good food. And
I just thought of something cool. Your guys' walks, you and Mary and Aunt Mimi.
oh, that was a really good part in my life. I really miss it.
Yeah.
How did you remember that?
It just popped in my head.
I keep thinking, oh, are we ever going to do that again? It was so life-giving.
Yeah.
Friday, we'd go down there and meet and walk the marina, and talk. Oh my God, and share and plan. And we told each other stuff that we would tell a therapist, actually,
Yeah.
And see, maybe it's because you're walking and the sea air and everything you tell them just kind of blows into the sea, and it doesn't have to be repeated or thought about or anything. It's gone. And then we shared an omelet at the restaurant that our mother and dad, our grandmother,
The break.
our mother and dad, yeah,
Right?
the brig, yeah. Those were good. Yeah, but it teaches you something else too. Is always be open to do what is put in front of you, and enjoy it. Because it might last, it might not, but at least it's there for what it is. That time of our life was there for when it was. It's not there now, but it was good while it lasted. Just like a good example of that is when Mother died, she left us each some money. Not a lot, but she left us some money, and Linda invited Dad and I to go to Europe with them. We'd never gone. Well, we'd gone to Spain, but the group that she hangs out with, the lawyers, were all going, and she asked if Dad and I wanted to go, and I thought, I'd never been to. They were going to go. What the thing was, they were going to go to Rome, and go to the Vatican, and they were going to go to Assisi, and where St. Francis came from, and that got me. I wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we signed up, went to Michigan, went on the trip, had a fabulous time. The two things I wanted to see, they had an earthquake and I couldn't even go to Assisi because the city was closed. I went to the Vatican and there were so many people there, I got so claustrophobic, I hated it. The rest of the trip was fabulous.
The two things you wanted to
Yeah,
go for.
yeah. So, go. And so the next year she calls and say, we're going to Ireland. I'm planning a trip to Ireland. And I still had money left. And I said, oh, I really want to save some of this stuff till I retire. I don't want to do it all now. I don't have that much time. I'm working, Dad was retired. He could go. But then I thought, oh, what the heck? She's going to plan it all. I won't have to do anything. It'll be fine. So we went. And Dad got to see his mother's grave. He had a hoolie with all his cousins from Ireland. He saw where his dad had born and raised and the family home. He saw all the land where his mother and dad came from. We had a fabulous time. The next year, Dad had a stroke.
Wow, really?
We went in June the very next year. He would never have been able to go. It was a miracle
That is so cool.
if we hadn't have gone,
That is so cool. He had a stroke a year after he retired?
No, he had retired before that.
Oh, okay.
But it was a year after we went to Ireland. If we had not gone to Ireland then, when I was thinking of not doing it, we would never have gone.
That's so cool.
So that taught me, when somebody asks you to do something and you possibly can, do it, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And usually it brings you such delight. Don't save stuff for tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come.
That's so true.
And you never know. You do something because you think that's what you want, but they'll have other surprises for you. Other. And then as you get older, know when to say no, even though you want to go. Like Demi's wedding, I really felt bad. Like the first time I had to say no, but I knew I wouldn't be able to breathe. And that would have made everybody else uncomfortable. So.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful. And by saying no, I was able to be here with my son-in-laws and Maureen and have a fabulous time. Yeah.
What did we do?
We all had dinner here.
It was just a random.
It was
group.
It was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's right. We
made corned beef and cabbage.
And it was Dennis.
And Ron.
And Ron and
Maureen and you and Wesley and me.
Such a random, intimate group.
Yeah.
But so cool.
Did we have him?
What?
Yeah, I think you were here with us.
Yeah, I think he was, because Maureen came and stayed with me.
Yeah.
And he was here with us?
That's right.
Yeah.
You getting tired? It's a long interview.
No, but I should go to the bathroom again.
We have that on camera.
Well, that's the story of old lady.
What
did you tell me that story of that interview guy being interviewed?
Yeah,
yeah. That's part.
That's humanity.
What did he say? That's how we begin our life. That's how we end our life.
Yeah.